I'm here at Adelante, Mujer, Latina, and I'm going to be speaking about values. I'm going to be speaking a little bit about my experience and how education had a big impact in my life. In my experience, in what we need to do as women and as mothers and sometimes as head of household, because there are a lot of women that are single women that are going to be here and children of single women. I think it's important that we really center ourselves in what our values are. For example, my values are God, family, job, education, health, and community, and that's how I lead my life. So for me, my spirituality is most important, and then my family comes first before my job. And so that's how I lead my life. So my children know that they're the most important part of my life, but they know it not because of what I say, they know it because of my actions. If they call, they know that I'm going to be there no matter what time it is. And some of those things are, I think we as women and as Latin women, we really focus on taking care of the kids, making sure that their food is ready or making sure that the sheets are cleaned. But I don't think we realize sometimes the impact we have in our children, and not only just in our children, but in our families too, because we're the center of the family. We're the ones that bring the family together, and we're the ones that go out and everything happens in the kitchen of the mother. And so we don't realize that it's our actions that are the ones that are going to show and that are going to be the example for our children and for the children's children and for generations to come.
So please give a warm welcome to Dr. Betty Uribe.
Hello? Oh, you can hear me. Hi, everybody. How was today so far? I heard it was wonderful. Maria over here, the mother of 3, has been doing some wonderful job, and there's been a couple of twin girls that I got to meet, and I've been talking to some of you about today, and it's been just wonderful. You guys look so beautiful. I want to take a picture of you. Is that okay? And I'm going to post it on social media, so you better give me a nice big smile. And I'll make it a pano so that all of you can be in the picture. You ready? So make a lot of noise. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah! There you go. Perfect. Woohoo! I've been hearing about today, but I'm here to tell you a little bit about myself. So this is my daughter, and she's now my assistant because she's going to be clicking for me. Alexandria. She just graduated from Pepperdine. All right, so let's go. This is my life. So you heard that I'm an executive vice president, and I speak at different conferences, and I run a $3 billion operation. I'm the only woman in the bank that is an executive that runs a business in the history of the company. But my life, everybody looks at people when you get up here and they say, you know, your career is so wonderful and everything was so easy. Well, it wasn't. This is my life. All right? Go ahead, baby. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. All right, so I was 12 years old, and I found myself in Bogotá, Colombia. Colombianos? Yay. Okay, Latinos? Yeah! I was in Bogotá, Colombia, and my mother said to me and my 3 brothers, I'm going to leave the country because even though your father has done really well, he was a millionaire, he drank a lot, and he used to beat up my mom, and I got to see a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have seen at the age of 12. And so I found myself on an airplane ride up to Miami, Florida, and when I got to Miami, we didn't have really anything. We didn't speak English. I knew how to say, my name is Betty, and that's about it. And then I found myself on a Greyhound bus. How many of you have been on a Greyhound bus? for 4 days and 4 nights without knowing how to speak English or even ordering food or anything, but I finally got to Los Angeles. And when we got to LA, there were a lot of lessons, so I'm just going to tell you about a couple of lessons. I have 15 minutes, and each of these slides could be a 1-hour conversation, so I'm just going to tell you very thin, and then I'm going to give you a way to get a hold of me if you want to know more. So when I first came into school, because I didn't speak English, the kids used to say, "You're stupid, aren't you?" And I would just look at them and I'd say, "Yes," and then they would laugh at me. Pretty soon, because I was so different, a wall came up. How many of you have a wall? Or yes. So the wall is the one that protects you, right? Well, I had this wall, and my wall is clear and it's thick. It's really, really thick. And people would say, and I would say in my head, "You can see me, but you can't hurt me. You can see me, but you can't touch me." That was my wall. And up until recently, I've been able to get a hold of that wall and bring that wall down so that I can connect with people. Now, when I was in high school, even though I was an A student, maybe I had a couple of B's, but even though I did really well, and I graduated when I was really young, I had enough credits to graduate when I was 15, the counselor at the school, the career counselor, told me, "You need to go to an occupational center." How many of you have heard that before? So I went to an occupational center, Southern California Regional Occupational Center, SCROC, and I learned how to be a key punch operator, which got me to become a secretary at the age of 17. But there was a book that I read, and this book was called Being a Woman. And how many of you like to read? Awesome, continue to read. This book was by Tony Grant called Being a Woman, and it taught me that it was okay for me to be a woman and to be feminine and to be beautiful and to be smart and to speak my mind and to be a little bit different, and it was okay that I was different and that the color of my skin wasn't any worse than anybody else's and all of that. So that was a significant moment in my life when I really realized, wow, I get to be myself, and it's okay to be me. It's okay to have an accent. It's okay not to speak English very well. All of those things. My Aunt Ruby taught me etiquette. We came into her house because we didn't have a place to live, and she said, "I'm going to teach you etiquette because one of these days you're going to dine with the President of the United States." And I thought, the White House? No way. Guess what? 14 years later, I was dining with President Bush. That was right after we had our cheesecake. So I'm going to walk you through some of the things that I've been able to do in my life what I want you to think about is I was 12 years old. I didn't speak English. I had the same education that you probably had at the age of 12. And some of the things that I've been able to do, you can do. There's no difference between you and I. The only thing is, I worked really hard, but I've been talking to some of you, and you guys work really hard too. And so did your parents. They sacrificed a lot for you. So I got married too early, very, very young. You want to know what my marriage was like? Okay, this is what my marriage was like. It was all over the map. It was because I married somebody that didn't have the same value system that I did, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So let me tell you about some of the early lessons that I had. I made a promise to myself in this particular marriage. I had a son. My son's name is Christopher, and I started a company, and it was an engineering and manufacturing company. If you go to Kaiser Permanente, the gynecological light is my light. That was the first company that we had. And so one day, he used to be abusive. I was in an abusive relationship. I married somebody that was just like my dad. So don't do that. And so I made a promise to myself, and I'll tell you why I made this promise. In one day, he said, "I'm taking Christopher away, and I'm taking the company away." And I said, "You can't do that." Now, my English wasn't that good because I was still very young. And he said, "You watch me. You don't speak English. You don't know the laws in this country. I'm leaving, and if you try to do anything, I will crush you." he proceeded to take my son, and they moved to Colorado. I try to say this. This is the first time I say this in public, so just bear with me. I made a promise to myself that day, and the promise was, I will never be put in a position where I don't know. I didn't know the laws. I called my mother. My mother didn't speak English. I used to do the checkbook, and I used to translate for her. She couldn't guide me, but if I would have known, I would have called the teachers. There are teachers in this place. I would have called the teachers. If I would have had an organization like this organization, maybe I would have been in a better place, but I wasn't. But you do. You have an opportunity to know better. So the promise I made to myself was, I'm going to get an education, and I'm going to become better, and nobody's going to tell me something that I don't know, because I'm going to be able to do it. So the lesson for you, and yes, this is me, a couple of years ago, changing the brakes in my car. I rebuilt my first engine when I was 19 years old, all by myself, because I wanted to learn how not to get taken when I go to get my car worked on. So now the guys don't stand a chance, which is awesome. So know what you want and don't stop until you get it. And I'm going to tell you a couple of lessons around that. I got a golden key. And my golden key, go ahead, baby, just press it twice. My golden key was my education. This next picture is when I got my doctorate at Pepperdine University 3 years ago. And I graduated with honors. They don't give honors in doctorates, hardly ever. But I was very fortunate and worked really, really hard. And so that golden key opened up doors. All of a sudden, when I became a doctoral student and a doctoral candidate and then a doctor, it was as if I had this golden key. And I want to tell you about this golden key because it's the education that gave me this golden key. I'm going to give you a little glimpse, and it's just a glimpse because I don't have a lot of time, of how far I've been able to get to be able to make an impact in other people around the world with this golden key. Are you ready? All right. I'm going to tell you a secret. How many of you have a personal belief system that impedes you from making a promise? Anybody? Okay, perfect. I'm going to ask you to raise your hand and repeat after me because I'm going to swear you in. This is a true secret. Really, it's a secret. And I can't have you speak about this outside of this room. So repeat after me. I solemnly promise that what I'm about to hear, I will only talk to with people in this room. So help me. Adelante, mujer latina. Okay, now you've been sworn in, and this is a true secret. Really, it's a secret. So I was in Washington, D.C., interviewing a General Mick Kicklighter. He's a 4-star general for the U.S. Army, in charge of the U.S. west of the United States to the east of China in the Saddam Hussein days. He was charged with going and bringing peace in the country once Saddam Hussein was taken. And so I was interviewing him, and I said, oh my goodness, after the interview, can I break bread with you and your wife tomorrow morning? I would love to take you to breakfast. And he said, no, I have a Bible study in the morning. And I said, can I come? And I'm going to stop right there because I want you to really pay attention to this if you get nothing else from today. Can I come? How many times have you wanted to ask, can I come? Can I go? Can I have one of those? Or can I please have this time? Or can you give me a little bit of time? And your little voice has said, nah, you're not smart enough, or you're not big enough, or you're not whatever enough. You fill in the blanks. How many of you have felt like that sometime? All of us have. Thank you. Absolutely. But I didn't. I said, can I come? And he stopped right there and he said, you can come. I thought, that's particular, you know, just a Bible study, it's not a big deal. Well, little did I know, he said, okay, show up at this place. I can't tell you the name of it because it really is a secret. And we have some videographers videotaping this, but I can tell you about the place. And I showed up at this place, and this is what it looks like. And it's a secret place. Don't touch it until I tell you the next time, because this is like a big thing. This is what this room looks like. Now, I want you to know that this is an extension of the White House, and it's across the river in Virginia. And when you look to the left of this, there's a fireplace with Mother Teresa's picture in it, with other presidents and other dignitaries that have come to visit the president. This place is where all of the presidents take the dignitaries when they come to visit, because they don't want the paparazzi to be there. That's where I found myself, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And this Bible study is with generals from the White House and generals from the Pentagon, some of whom I had already interviewed for my book that's coming up. And I thought, oh my goodness, this chair to the right is where the general started, where the general sat, General Kicklighter. He's the one that started this Bible study in the Pentagon, and he was asked to move it because too many people were coming, so he moved it to this place. So I got to go there because I asked, can I come, right? Even though I felt a little uncomfortable, had I even known, who knows? But I got to go there. 2 months ago, I called the general and I said, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C., and I would love to come to the Bible study. He said, okay. He says, I'm not going to be there. One more time, I said, can I come anyway? And he sent me a note, and the note said, Dear Betty, you are a friend for life and beyond, and you have a carte blanche to this such and such place for life. You don't even need to ask, you just show up. So next week I'm going to be in this place, and I'm just showing up. I'm not even asking next week, but guess what? So he said that I could come, so I went. And I showed up, and I'm talking to all the generals, and they're like, oh my gosh, Betty, it's so nice to see you and all of this. And so I walked in, and I'm walking by. We're all getting ready to sit down to do this Bible study, and I walked right by the general's chair, and I said, I'm not touching that chair. I'm just walking right by. And they said, oh, no, 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 no. You get to sit in the general's chair. I want you to remember this moment. Always, for the rest of your life, I want you to remember this moment. Because you get to sit in the chair. You get to sit in the chair. You get to sit in the chair. You, every single one of you, gets to sit in the chair. And all it takes is an education. All it takes is that golden key, and all it takes is a lot of hard work, and the sacrifices that your parents are already making for you are going to be realized in you, because each and every one of you gets to sit in that chair. Now, I'm going to show you some other things that I've been able to do. Go ahead, baby. At that Bible study, they asked for prayer, and I said, you know, I'm writing this book, and my book is all about values. I want to inject values back into heads of state around the country, and I want to inject values into CEOs and into students of leadership. I'm donating 50% of the proceeds of this book to give scholarships. In fact, in next month, I'm going to Africa, where I started to donate scholarships for kids in Africa already. And my goal is to give 100 scholarships in each continent. And everybody has to sign a contract that they're going to pay it forward, because my legacy is going to live beyond me. And so I said to the generals, can you pray for this, because I really want to get this. One of the generals took me to lunch, true story, and he said, you know what, Betty, you have access. I said, well, I need to get these into heads of state from all the countries. I'm giving 100 scholarships in each continent by the time I'm 80, and I'm a little bit older, so I don't have that much time. I mean, if you think about it, 700 scholarships, full scholarships to college is a lot, right? And so he said, Betty, you have access. And I said, really? He said, yes. When the dignitaries and the heads of state from all over the world come to visit the President of the United States, we are the ones that host them. So we're going to get your book in the hands of every dignitary and every heads of state from around the world when they come visit. That happened because of the golden key, and that golden key happened because of the education. Don't ever forget that. But there's more. It doesn't stop there, and I'm just going to give you a real quick highlight. To the left, I'm standing with Maria Contreras-Sweet. She's the head of the Small Business Administration in Washington, D.C. She was actually recruiting me for a position in D.C. at the time, and this was just a few months ago. In the middle is, and I carry this with me all the time because this was my father's transportation company that I inherited. Had I not had the education, I would not have been bold enough as a woman to go to Colombia and to take over my father's transportation company and to shake hands with everybody and to say, you know, I am Betty Rengifo and I'm my father's daughter and I'm gonna take care of everything. So that's what I did. To the right, President Uribe, I went and got VIP treatment from the president of my own country as a delegate for all of the Colombians in the United States. And then bottom right, yes, I'm holding on to our governor. Got somebody to take my picture. But I've been able to be with the governor. And then here to the left, I visited China. And at that time, I was a keynote speaker for an event for the Women's Maple Society. For their 20th year anniversary, I was a keynote speaker. And right there, I'm sitting in the middle to the right. See if you see, I had a light suit on. Can you see it? A light pantsuit on. After I spoke, I was given a copy of the program from the previous year, from their 19th year anniversary. And lo and behold, I look and there's a picture, an identical picture like that. And who was sitting in the keynote spot? Hillary Clinton was the keynote speaker the year before for their 19th year. And I got to be the keynote speaker for their 20th year. Life lesson. The life lesson is know exactly what you want and don't give up until you actually get it. So this picture shows you commitment. Yes, that is me in that picture. And if you think about it, the centrifugal force should have pushed me down, but it didn't because there was a level of commitment to staying up there. And that's what it takes sometimes. Getting a doctorate isn't easy, and if it was easy, everybody would do it. But that golden key, let me tell you, it was absolutely worth it. Because the people I've been able to touch around the world have been amazing, and God is amazing, and I know that He's going to take me to places where I can touch billions around the world. Go ahead. So I have a question for you. What did you want to be? When I was little, I chose this tiara because my mother used to call me La Reina de la Belleza. My mother told me, the beauty queen, she told me that I was super intelligent and she told me that I could do anything I wanted to do. It doesn't matter. And you guys, I didn't speak English at the age of 12. And I cleaned houses and babysat. And I was the housekeeper. I raised my little brother. So we can all do it. It just takes ganas. And it takes a lot of effort, and it just takes a lot of work. But that's it, and anybody can do it. Any one of you can do it. So what do you want to be? All right, go ahead. I want to tell you what my values are. God, go ahead. Family, just keep going, baby. Family, that's my 2 daughters here, and my Aunt Ruby, the one that taught me etiquette. And my son over there to the right, upper right with my brother to his right. My son is 30 years old. Yes, I was 12 when I had him. Don't believe that. At the bottom right-hand corner is a hospital. Okay, you guys, knock it off. Okay, so I'm older. All right, so at the bottom right-hand side is a hospital that broke down in the Sichuan earthquake. Many years ago, 7 years ago, when I was in China, I visited and I took 3,000 letters to the kids that lost their parents. And I visited this hospital, so I was able to get there, and then to the bottom left. And so community, so God, family, job is California Bank and Trust, education, health. This is Alex and I at the last Pepperdine 5K, the Pepperdine Coastal Run. So yes, I still run a 5K. And community. These are my values. All right, so I'm going to leave you with some thoughts. These are Dr. Betty's top 10. And these are my pieces of advice to you. And if you want to get copies, I'm going to show you how to get copies of everything so that you can get some copies. But go ahead and go one by one real quick. Know your values. You know what my values are. God, family, job, education, health, and community. In that order. That's how I lead my life. Know your values. Know what's important to you. Go ahead. Protect your brand. Your brand, like Nike, just do it. Well, what's your brand? My brand is she's a woman of integrity. She's a woman who wants to make a difference. I'm here to make an impact for you, and I'm here to make an impact in this earth. That's my brand. Find your own voice. Don't try to mimic somebody else. It's okay to be who you are. You want to be who you are. Don't try to be somebody else. So find your own voice. Seek out champions. I've had mentors all my life. In fact, I have some mentees in the audience today. Make sure that you seek out champions or somebody that will stake their reputation on you. A teacher, a professor, a prospective employer. Seek out champions. Inspire others to be their very best. How do you inspire people? By your actions and your way of being. Don't ever, ever, ever forget where you came from. And reach back and bring others with you. Trust your instincts. Don't do what I did. And I'm going to tell you something that I've never spoken about before. There was a room, and I went into this room, and I found myself being molested by a relative. Over a third of the women are raped. Those are the statistics. So for every 3 of you, 1 of you will be. I didn't follow my instincts. And I found myself in a room in a very bad position with somebody that I trusted. I didn't follow my instincts. That's why I put that there. You know in your heart of hearts when things are going to go wrong, when things are awry, and when maybe you just feel like obligated. I felt obligated to walk in. Don't do it. Follow your instincts. Follow your inner voice. Be in gratitude. I get up every morning and I say, thank you, God. You know, your life changes. Your attitude changes. The view of life changes when you are in gratitude for everything you have. So live a life of gratitude. Listen to others' actions. Talk is cheap. People will tell you, oh, I love you so much, but if their actions don't show that, if they're not congruent, then don't take that as their word. Listen, I always say listen to the actions, don't listen to the words. And finally, lead with a higher purpose. Whatever your purpose is in your life, that's what you want to lead with. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of quotes. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to wait just a minute if you want to take a picture of this so you can have it. All right? Okay. Go ahead. No? Okay, go back. All right. I'll post this on my Facebook if you want, and then you can take a picture of it on my Facebook, all right? So I'm going to post some things for you. So I'm going to leave you with a couple quotes. Go ahead. When your actions align with your values, your decisions will always be right. So keep that to yourself. Take a picture, or I can post it again. And one of the things I posted also was, I posted the next saying is social media, and that is God is my GPS. And it's something that I just live with. Go ahead, baby. There's a letter. If you want to know, this is the end of my story, but if you want to know a deeper part of my story, my daughter Sandra, who's 19 years old and she's in school, she wrote this letter to me. I'm not going to read the letter to you because it's a 5-page letter and I've been given a limited amount of time. But it walks through what her life was like, me growing up. And mothers, you want to read this letter. And girls, you want to read this letter. So I'm going to, if you want to get a copy of the letter, I will send it to you. Just send me a note on LinkedIn, and my hashtag on everything is hashtag Dr. Betty Uribe. Thank you so much. I hope that I've been able to inspire you. And you too can have that. Oh my gosh. Oh, these are beautiful.
Thank you, what a wonderful speech. And thank you for supporting Annual Adelante. Can we get another round of applause, please? That was beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Uribe, once again.
So thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to 2017. Please email us your Adelante stories, and we'll post them on Tumblr. Or you post them on Tumblr. Okay, thank you so much and have a great day.
You're fine, you're fine.
Before you will take the picture with the comedy, the girls?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I will like to.
Yes, absolutely. Come on, come on.
Go behind you.
You are amazing like that.
Oh, thank you. Come on.
Smile, girls.
Yay! Number 1, we can do this! Yay! Good meeting you. Good meeting you. Oh, look at both of you. Me too. Good meeting you.
Thank you.
You bet. My pleasure. Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
I remember your first speech that you did for our event, and seeing it's inspiring. And I was just telling Ariana, who's educated Latina too, I'll have to get your connections with it, but you are a living proof of it. When I met you, 15 years ago, and to see, I'm only 35, and to see what you've done for me then, I wanted to say that to you so you see that. You're just an inspiration. Thank you so much.
You just touched me.
No, you spoke to so many of us. We were crying when you're speaking, and it's so beautiful that your daughter gets to be a part of this, that we get to be a part of it as well. And Ariana, she's part educated Latina, and I'll send you all the stuff. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Your speech was amazing and so inspiring. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm so motivated. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy. Thank you.
Just really.
It was amazing. Adelante, mujer latina! Yay! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Maria. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
What a way to celebrate birthday.
Yes, absolutely, with your daughter. Happy birthday. And congratulations on all of your sacrifices and everything that you're doing for your daughter. Because everything, I want you to go into my website, into my LinkedIn, and pull my letter, because my daughter talked to me about how she saw all the sacrifices that I made, and I had to work so hard, and I had to come home late and everything. And in her first year of college, she realized, and she was apologizing for getting so mad and all of that. But that's what happens. They remember. They will always remember, and they will see it's your sacrifices and it's your actions that are teaching her how to be a better woman and how to go to school and how to get better. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And you know what you're doing for your daughter, she's always going to remember. Always. She will always remember. 13 years old and she's already done how many units? 40 college student units. 40, 40. Wow.